Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon over there in London. Today I have Jules here with Adease, and without further ado, we'd love if you can introduce yourself and your company.
Hi, I'm Jules, founder of Adease, and yeah, Adease is it's like a digital marketing assistant, driven basically by all these AI APIs, and yeah, that's a brief introduction.
Yeah, would love to learn more about your platform, kind of how it works, and maybe some of your target audience. What kind of customers use Adease?
So it's a lot of agencies at the moment, and then in terms of like internal brands, it is actually quite diverse, like fashion brands, other kind of e-commerce users. Yeah, but it's mainly agency, like small agencies that use it at the moment.
Very nice. Okay, how do you get to this point in your career? What led you to starting Adease?
So I've been in marketing for years, basically like moving around different marketing agencies from like junior account manager, worked as an account manager, and I've always been into like coding and building tools and stuff. So throughout that kind of process, for the past like over 5 years now, I guess, I've just kind of seen kind of opportunities to kind of make things a bit easier. And so it's kind of been a growing thing over time. And it's kind of really picked up this year, as like I've kind of incorporated all these OpenAI kind of APIs into it to kind of grow it further.
Yep, that's an exciting time with in the world of AI right now. I'm glad you're kind of at the forefront of that. So I guess what can companies do to leverage AI today in their advertising strategies?
So the main things would be obviously like the more obvious one is like the generative ads, ad copy, generative like creative. I'm a bit kind of skeptical of how much that will be used, just because like you can kind of tell right now, like if something is kind of AI written. So it's going to be a combination of the both. I think it's going to be like someone kind of creating like a video or something and using AI with it, rather than just pumping out AI generated videos and things like that. But another, I think the more kind of powerful use case for it is more like the internal stuff where you can like create campaigns, like literally by like uploading a plan or campaign plans across multiple like platforms, and then the AI will kind of just build it in the platform for you with all like the targeting, the right objectives, the budgets, and things like that. So I think that's going to be the most. I think that's going to be one of the better use cases internally for it.
Nice. And what about for optimizing ad campaigns? Say, do you guys have any analytics built in where you could kind of do a trend analysis and look at like which ads are performing better and do like a deep dive analysis into possibly why those ads are performing better, so it can inform the human user to instruct AI to update the ad copy or whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of that. Where so at the moment, Adease, you can actually generate like insight reports. So it can pick out these kind of insights from your campaigns. But yeah, the eventual evolution of that would be where you kind of make these automations where it gives you the insight, and then you can kind of like have it just implement a change, basically.
It's really neat. So what should a B2B company expect when they start advertising, especially with AI? I mean, should they expect stellar results, or is it kind of more of a process where they have to kind of fine tune it over time? But ultimately, AI will give them will save them a lot of time in the long run.
Yeah, I think it will be initially quite slow. In the long run, it will save time, like building campaigns, writing reports, creating new ads and things. But initially, I think it will be. I think it would be to not kind of expect it to kind of change everything like from the beginning. I think they should kind of expect. I'm not too sure. I think the expectation should be like that you're still running like traditional campaigns where you have like the awareness side, consideration, conversion, like funnel, and you're just using the AI to enhance those areas. And it's more of like an enhancement than it's going to like completely take over the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I've seen with a lot of AI tools, right? It's used as a productivity lift as opposed to like a replacement for humans tool. It's still, extremely important to have a human in the loop to kind of help coach and manage the AI tools.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard for like a brand like safety and things like that, where if you're kind of creating all these new ads, I think it will be fine-tuned over time, where you can kind of like a brand can kind of like evolve the AI or fine-tune it over time, so that it still matches all their values that they want portrayed in their messaging and stuff like that.
Yep. What other tips do you have for optimizing your advertising campaigns that you've used in the past?
I think the main ones would be really kind of understand what like your KPIs are for like each campaign type. I do see it happen sometimes where you're kind of looking in the wrong place for what should be optimized, and that's a very kind of human error thing.
Yep.
Which I think AI will also help with, where it's kind of like it can kind of work out what the important KPIs are for each campaign. But yeah, just really like optimizing like the whole funnel from awareness, consideration to conversion, and just really like understanding what your KPIs are.
Excellent. I guess what are some other top advertising trends in 2025 aside from AI? Perhaps there's maybe other tools that might become complementary to Adease that you've seen being used in the field. What else should marketers be aware of for new advertising trends coming up here?
Yeah, I think, I mean, for 2025, it's going to be quite a lot of the AI stuff, like the generative creative data, like analytical tools and things like that. But I still think like influencer marketing as well is going to be like this continues to be like a huge trend for 2025. I think it's just going to be very similar.
Especially B2B, it's starting to become more popular too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think there's more. I do see more like humor and stuff being used in like B2B like ads, which I think is definitely like a good thing. Like these like B2B brands like kind of not taking themselves like too seriously like in their marketing, and just like showing that they do have like unique personality from like their competitors and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be a cool thing to see in 2025.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that myself too, and I think that's going to continue to become a big trend. I think a lot of companies are moving away from that stodgy, let's keep it safe B2B branding approach. More human centric, which at the end of the day, even if it's B2B, we're still communicating with people, we're still doing business with people. So that's where like the humor and like having a more personalization really connects with the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that continues, because that is great to see. Like there is a brand that does this really well, like a company, ClickUp, I think they are, where they do like these like cringy like HR videos, and they always do like really well. So I hope like more brand like B2B like businesses kind of like incorporate that, because that's always a good thing.
Definitely, it's about time.
Exactly.
So I guess, do you have any time-proven advertising techniques that will never go away regardless of today's technology? So obviously AI is here to stay, but what are some of the advertising, the core tenets of advertising that any marketer should know and never forget, regardless of the new technology that's coming down the pipeline ever?
I think so Facebook and Instagram will just continue to be like the dominant social like advertising platform. Like with the I'm not sure like exactly what's going to happen like with like the other platform. I mean, like there's talk about like the TikTok ban and things like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those campaigns could maybe move over to like Snapchat, or people just increase their Facebook budgets. But yeah, I think really mastering Facebook and Instagram should be like, well, is an important thing. And I think not a lot of people kind of utilize like the mixed marketing model system, where they can kind of attribute like awareness campaigns that actually drive their bottom line. I think that should be more of an important thing as well.
Yep. And what are your thoughts about like have you seen like in-person events stemming away from the online world? Have you seen like a comeback for like in-person events as well as kind of a new marketing channel since COVID?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that is a good point. There's a lot more kind of, I'm not quite sure what you call them, but not
Offline.
really meet and greets, but yeah, where like there's like venues that you can kind of like agencies will go to, or like summits, I guess they're called, or yeah, I do see that as being like a growing thing since the end of COVID.
What do you think about the data privacy, I guess, in terms of advertising? I know in the EU it's a little bit different. There's a little bit more regulations around what kind of data, how you can track online visitors and, be able to target them. The same kind of stuff is happening here in the US, especially with Apple, removing the cookies and all that. What kind of trends do you see there, I guess, going into 2025 and beyond?
I think so. I mean, the tracking stuff, I think is it's going to get better. I think we went down a bit with like the whole like the whole privacy stuff, kind of cut a lot of like the tracking, like attribution stuff out. But with like the new AI like attribution in like Google Analytics and stuff like that, I do see it kind of getting better. But I think just people utilizing like mixed marketing models in the future will kind of also help with that. Because I mean, tracking conversions and stuff is just going to get harder over time. So I think using these like AI tools and machine learning tools is really going to help with that.
Yeah. What other ways are people using AI, I guess, to maybe identify online visitors that are coming to their website, or doing like a visitor analysis?
So I think chatbots as well will be a really good one, where you can kind of gain more insight into a user that lands on your page if they're kind of interacting with a chatbot, asking it questions and stuff. And then that could also go back and feed into like retargeting across different channels and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot more options for AI to be used in all these like tracking systems for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially with the chatbots, just getting people engaged when they get to your website for the first time is really key. And those chatbots give people at least an option to get some answers right away.
Yeah.
I think going forward, especially because there's such an explosion with SaaS products out there, it's cheaper and easier than ever to bring a product to market. Certain things are going to become more important, not only, getting the exposure through advertising, but also, engagement, right? So, continuing to figure out ways to get people engaged with your website or your product. And that's where chatbots come in to be, really important there. I guess anything else you'd recommend for like SaaS founders out there to kind of create a moat for their business, given the fact that there's so many companies out there that are launching that are very similar?
I think really personalized chatbots is quite important. So like fine tuning things so that it's kind of providing more value to users than they can kind of get from like a generic one, like from like ChatGPT or something like that. I think from like the moat perspective, it's kind of like like training your models to just be really like specifically good in that one area.
Yeah.
So that it's just better than the competitors.
Yep, and especially with a lot of people doing integrations with their data as well. So, maybe you take an off the shelf platform, but doing that integration with your data set, so you could really, like you mentioned, really personalize the interaction with the customers that you do have more data on than you normally would from some anonymous online website visitor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do see that's kind of where it's going for sure.
Yeah, it's great to see. So I guess, do you have any tips for creating advertising copy or imagery that might convert? Because in advertising, obviously, getting attention is one of the most important things. Getting that first action, which is ultimately that click through.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips there?
I think uh, I think yeah, try to kind of play with it a bit rather than kind of people kind of overanalyze what their competitors are doing, and then everyone kind of ends up with the same ad copy or the same style of ad copy. Like I remember like the early days of like people building stores and stuff and doing Facebook ads, and then it's just full of like emojis, like
Yeah.
flame emojis for offers and things like that. I think really kind of decide what your brand image and what the values are, and like reflect that as much as possible in the copy and the creative, just so like you just stand out from everyone else.
Yeah, that's a great point too. A lot of people do tend to just kind of want to, ride on the bandwagon, I guess.
Yeah,
Just if you see other people doing it, you think you need to do it yourself, but not necessarily, right? So that's
yeah,
always a key core marketing message. I think a lot of people forget, which is start with your core values as a brand, and new trends might come along, but a brand is supposed to be timeless, right? So don't make sure that you're not just trying to conform to the latest trends at the sacrifice of your brand value and image.
exactly. Yeah, and like some things do like just work across the board, where like
Yep.
your retargeting copy is going to be different from like your first kind of like touch point copy,
Yep.
where you're giving people offers and things, but like the messaging around those offers and stuff like that, I think just try to focus on having that as close to your brand values like as possible.
Yep. So I guess failure comes with any profession, especially with entrepreneurship. Can you tell us about any time that you failed and what you learned from it?
Yeah. So yeah, so like the first, I would say like the more important one would be, I mean, of constantly failing. I'm not going to lie about it.
We all
But
do. Yeah.
yeah, like the big one, I think early with starting the app, like in the development stage, and just having some like test users and stuff on, just like rate limits with the Facebook API, and then having like restricted access on a couple of their APIs, and having to go through like the whole like re-authentication process and getting it back up and running again. Yeah, that was a very stressful time. But yeah, like I think just it's just about like getting kind of through those times. I think it's more like because things are just going to go wrong like all the time, and it's just about kind of building up like some resilience to it, I guess.
Any other I guess tips for maybe some of the challenges that you overcame and tips on how to get over it for other entrepreneurs, like how to approach these challenges?
I think really not try to like freak out, and just kind of like accept that you're gonna have to go like through like certain processes to get things back up and running again. Like I remember like when I had this whole issue with like the APIs like for Facebook, it was kind of like it did kind of feel like the end of like what was going to be, but yeah, just like kind of forgetting about it and just kind of plowing on, I think is like I mean it's the advice that people were giving me at the time, and it was just like the best advice that I could really have at that time.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, the big fear with failure is that, they think they take it too personal, right? So, but if you don't look at failure as that, you look at it as an opportunity to learn or overcome that challenge, usually you realize that it's not that big of a deal anyway, and it allows you to keep that focus and to just say, hey, that doesn't matter if I do fail. We just got to solve this problem right now because, what I really care about is the business and making this thing work. So I think just removing that, just not taking it personally and kind of removing that from the equation, I think really helps people not, lose their head over it if something goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess, what are some of your favorite books that you've read this year? Maybe some that other entrepreneurs can read about for marketing and advertising that might give them some ideas and how they could approach their brand strategy.
Oh God, this is terrible. I've not read a book this year. I started a book actually. I did start a book, which I haven't actually finished. But it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh yeah, that one's classic.
Yeah. I've not finished it yet, but yeah, I'm definitely going to try and finish that in 2025 if I can.
Nice. I got a pro hack. I use Blinkist, so you could listen to an audiobook. It basically condenses the books to like 15 minutes, so you can get all the main points out of it. And if you really like the book, you can buy it and, of course, read the whole thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I find that a lot of books, especially these business books, are, for one, a lot of them kind of repeat the same concepts or ideas anyway.
Yeah.
It's in different writing, but that gives you like the key takeaway points, like the value really out of the book, in my opinion, from like pretty much any book that you want to listen to. And so you could hack a couple of those books a day, really. And if you like it, you could definitely read into it more. But I feel like a lot of books are a lot of fluff where they have like anecdotes, testimonials, stories. They just kind of go deep into some of the key points. But it all starts at, what are the high level takeaways from that book that I think you can glean pretty quickly.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I am more of a podcast person than a book person. I feel like
podcasts, you can learn a lot. That's a really popular trend lately. But yeah, a lot of great content comes out of that too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Got any favorite podcasts you'd recommend?
At the moment, I've been watching. It's kind of like a silly one, but like the H3 podcast. But I do like there's another one that I've been watching a lot recently, like the Diary of a CEO.
Oh, very cool.
That one's really good. Like the guests always like really like insightful in that one. And then just the classic like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he always has a good guest on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. And then there's another one too that's popular out of Silicon Valley. I forget the name of it. I think it's like the All In podcast or something like that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've watched that one as well. That one's really good.
Yeah. I think it's like David Sachs and Chamaith or something like that. But
yeah,
I've heard a few of those.
I think it is.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So I guess what's one thing that potential customers should know about Adease and why they should pick your platform up today?
I think the main thing is like it's super easy to make campaigns with. Like you can make campaigns through just like a text prompt, like you're chatting to like ChatGPT, but you just ask it to make a campaign and it'll just build it for you in Facebook with the right objective, with like it'll match the targeting, so it'll build ad sets for you, and then give you some template ads as well that you can swap out your creative for and things like that. And there's not really like anything like it yet where you can just generate a campaign through a prompt. And then for building campaigns manually, it's perfect for finding like the right audiences to target. You can get benchmarks on all these different interests that you can target on Facebook. It'll give you like what like you can expect from like a click-through rate from all these audiences and things like that, which is just so helpful to have before you build a campaign.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the main like value of it for now. And then there's obviously yeah, like the and then there's like the Chrome extension where you can kind of do all of what you can do like in the main platform, just like through the Chrome extension. And then the custom GPT on the OpenAI GPT store, which is free, and you can just build marketing, or you can plan campaigns from it, get audience details like directly from Facebook's marketing API, and that's just in the ChatGPT interface. So it's really kind of like the perfect Facebook ad assistant tool in all these different areas.
What's next for you guys then? Any exciting features we should look out for?
The main thing will be to be multi-platform. So like in the next couple of years, like you'll be able to just, if a campaign works on Facebook, for example, you can just like copy and paste it to Pinterest and just test it on a different platform. And then like the AI will kind of match like what the objective was and find as close to the relevant like interest or audiences that you were using on Facebook on the new platform. The big thing will be when we go like multi-platform with it. So you can just copy and paste campaigns like around different platforms.
I'm very excited to see that. So where can people learn more about Adease and pick it up today?
Adease.io. There's all the information there for all the features, and even just directly in the like ChatGPT custom like GPT store, just the Adease GPT in there, and that has like the main audience part of it. But for like the campaign creation stuff, that's all on Adease.io.
Awesome. And you can also pick it up today in the NachoNacho marketplace too. We've been proud partners with you guys for a while now. So looking forward to growing our businesses together and seeing you guys add all these great new features. It sounds really exciting for people. So looking forward to seeing what's next.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a super exciting time.
Awesome. Well, Jules, thanks so much for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to catching up again soon.
For sure.